There are people who spend entire days irritated without even realizing that the real prison is not the world around them, but the way their mind reacts to what happens. One wrong word ruins their mood. One message ignored becomes resentment. One small inconvenience is enough to poison an entire day. And slowly, without noticing it, they become emotionally controlled by everything outside of them. But Buddhism teaches something radically different. It teaches that true freedom begins the moment you stop allowing every external event to dictate your inner state. Because peace is not found by controlling the world. Peace is found by mastering yourself. Think about how many times your mind has replayed an argument for hours. How many nights you lost sleep because of something someone said. How many moments of your life were stolen, not by the event itself, but by the emotional storm that followed inside you? Most suffering does not come from reality. It comes from unconscious reaction. And this is why Buddhist wisdom remains so powerful even today. Because it does not promise a perfect world. It teaches you how to remain calm in an imperfect one. The first lesson is learning to transform anger into awareness. Most people think anger is power. They think reacting immediately proves strength. But in reality, uncontrolled anger is one of the easiest ways to lose control over your own life. The moment anger takes over your mind, someone else owns your peace. Buddhism teaches that anger becomes dangerous only when you stop observing it. The moment you become aware of it, something changes. Instead of becoming the emotion, you become the witness of the emotion. And that changes everything. Because when you observe anger carefully, you begin to notice something surprising. It moves. It changes shape. It rises and falls like a wave. It is not permanent. It only feels permanent when you feed it with thoughts, stories, and reactions. Most people react instantly because they are afraid of silence, afraid of pausing, afraid of feeling vulnerable. But wisdom is born exactly in that pause between stimulus and reaction. That pause is freedom. Imagine receiving a disrespectful message. Most people answer immediately. Emotion controls action. But a calm mind does something different. It breathes. It watches. It waits. And suddenly the situation loses part of its power. The Buddhist masters understood something modern neuroscience confirms today. Emotions become stronger when constantly reinforced by attention. Every time you replay the insult, every time you imagine arguments, every time you mentally attack the other person, you strengthen the emotional circuit inside your brain. But what you stop feeding slowly weakens. This is why awareness is transformative. Not because it magically removes anger, but because it stops anger from becoming your identity. You are not your emotions. You are the consciousness observing them. The second lesson is the power of patience. Modern society trains people to become emotionally fragile. Everything is immediate. Fast messages, instant entertainment, immediate gratification. And because of this, people lose the ability to remain calm when life does not move at the speed of their desires. But Buddhism teaches that patience is not weakness. Patience is emotional strength under control. An impatient mind suffers constantly because reality never fully obeys human expectation. Traffic, delays, rejections, waiting, misunderstandings. None of these destroy people directly. What destroys them is resistance to reality. The patient mind understands something deeper. Life moves in seasons. Some things require time to mature. Some answers arrive slowly. Some wounds heal gradually. Patience is trusting the process without emotionally collapsing every time things do not happen immediately. And this changes relationships too. Many arguments happen not because people are evil, but because both sides react impulsively. One person speaks emotionally, the other reacts emotionally. And suddenly, Two wounded minds create unnecessary suffering. Patience interrupts this chain. It creates space for clarity. The third lesson is understanding impermanence. One of the greatest illusions of the human mind is believing that painful emotions will last forever. When sadness arrives, it feels eternal. When anxiety arrives, it feels endless. When anger arrives, it feels absolute. But Buddhism reminds us that everything changes. Every emotion is temporary. The problem is that people panic inside emotional storms because they believe the storm defines reality itself. But emotions are weather patterns of the mind. They move, they pass, they dissolve. This understanding alone can save people from enormous suffering. Think about how many moments once felt unbearable, but later disappeared completely. Situations that once consumed your mind no longer even matter today. The emotion was real, but it was never permanent. And remembering this creates emotional distance from suffering. Not coldness, not repression, awareness. The fourth lesson is compassion. One of the reasons people remain constantly disturbed by others is because they interpret every negative behavior personally. Someone is rude, someone is cold, someone attacks, someone judges. And instantly the mind reacts defensively. But Buddhism teaches that behind most harmful behavior there is hidden suffering. Hurting people often hurt others because they themselves are internally lost, angry, insecure, exhausted, or emotionally wounded. This does not justify toxic behavior, but it changes how you carry it inside yourself. Because the moment you stop taking every negative action personally, you stop absorbing unnecessary emotional poison. Compassion is not becoming weak. It is refusing to become emotionally contaminated by the suffering of others. A calm person does not add more fire to a fire. The fifth lesson is letting go of attachment to opinions. Modern life has made people addicted to being right. Social media amplified this dramatically. Everyone defends opinions as if identity itself depended on them. Conversations become battles. Disagreements become personal wars. But Buddhism teaches that attachment to opinions creates inner tension. A rigid mind cannot remain peaceful. The wise person understands that perspectives are limited. Human beings see reality through personal experiences, fears, and conditioning. And because of this, not every disagreement requires emotional warfare. Sometimes protecting your peace is more important than winning an argument. The sixth lesson is understanding karma in everyday life. Karma is often misunderstood as punishment or mystical revenge. But Buddhism presents karma much more practically. Every thought creates consequences. Every action plants seeds. Every emotional reaction shapes future experience. Anger creates more tension. Kindness creates more openness. Calm creates more stability. And over time, these repeated mental patterns shape the quality of your entire life. Your inner world eventually becomes your outer experience. This is why emotional mastery matters so much, because every reaction is training your future self. The seventh lesson is mindfulness. Mindfulness is not escaping life. It is finally becoming present enough to live it consciously. Most people are mentally absent almost all the time, either trapped in memories of the past or fears about the future. And because of this, they lose contact with reality itself. Mindfulness brings the mind back home, back to breathing, back to awareness, back to the present moment. And the present moment is where emotional freedom begins. Because anxiety lives in imagined futures. Regret lives in remembered pasts. But peace lives here, right now. The eighth and perhaps most powerful lesson is loving kindness. The world has convinced many people that hardness equals strength, that emotionally closing yourself protects you, that vulnerability is weakness. But Buddhism teaches the opposite. A truly peaceful person is not emotionally numb. They are emotionally open without becoming emotionally destroyed. Loving kindness begins with how you speak to yourself internally. Many people are far more violent toward themselves than anyone else could ever be. Constant self-criticism, constant comparison, constant pressure to be perfect, and this inner hostility becomes suffering. But when you begin treating yourself with patience, gentleness, and compassion, something profound changes. The nervous system relaxes, the mind softens, emotional healing begins. And eventually this kindness extends outward toward others, not because everyone deserves perfection from you, but because hatred is too heavy to carry forever. A peaceful mind is not created in one day. It is trained, moment after moment, reaction after reaction, thought after thought. And every time you choose awareness instead of impulse, patience instead of aggression, compassion instead of resentment, you are slowly rebuilding your inner world. The goal of Buddhism is not to escape life. It is to stop becoming emotionally enslaved by it. And maybe this is the deepest truth of all. No one can truly disturb a mind that has learned how to remain present, aware, and free. Because real peace does not come from controlling people. It comes from no longer allowing people to control what happens inside you. If this message spoke to you, if even one part of this video helped you breathe a little deeper or see your emotions more clearly, then stay connected to this journey. Subscribe to the channel, because here, we are not just chasing motivation. We are training the mind, strengthening the spirit, and learning how to live with more awareness, peace, and inner freedom. And in the comments, tell me honestly, which lesson do you need most in your life right now?